What is up, guys? How you guys been? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And today we are going to be reacting to 2 true eBay horror stories animated. This was made by MJV Animations. You know, go subscribe to them. I love watching their videos. They're pretty good. So yeah, part 6. I had Snickers. Let's see. Water. I don't know. Chapstick. No, I'm fine. Family size hot fries, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Let's see what it is. See what it is and what it do.
I'm a college student, and my laptop recently broke. It was in the middle of the semester, so I was really in need of a new one. I searched on eBay and saw an ad for the exact laptop I was looking for. It was a miracle. It was the new HP Pavilion for an absurdly low asking price. I was so excited I immediately bought it, as it was only listed a few hours ago, and I wanted to be sure to get it before anyone else could. Although the thought of it being a scam never even crossed my mind once when buying it. As I waited a while for the laptop to arrive, I'd constantly go back to the page and look at it with anticipation. I was excited. It felt like Christmas, and just over a week later the laptop finally arrived. A bit annoyed, I noticed that there wasn't much protection for the laptop in the box it came in. But luckily it was fine, and it didn't have any visible damage. I opened the laptop and immediately saw a sticky note on the screen. It was a 4-digit PIN. I was confused. Why would the seller not remove their account prior to sending the laptop? It made no sense to give me the PIN to sign into their account. Why wouldn't you just do a hard reset before shipping it? Of course, I ignored my suspicion and used the PIN to sign into the account. When typing in the PIN, I couldn't help but notice the profile picture to the Outlook account was solid black. A bit eerie, but I continued to sign in anyway. There was nothing special at first. The background was a standard default image of a beach that Microsoft uses with its computers. I assumed all the files and everything would be cleared, and most of them were. But I couldn't help but notice some files still remained on the laptop. What sensible person would leave their files for a stranger to see? Anyway, I was looking through the files. They all looked to be normal photos and videos. They were photos of woods and a river. They didn't seem planned out though, almost as if the photos were accidents. They weren't even symmetrical, and some were just blurry and honestly terrible photos, almost as if they were purposely bad. There was also a single picture of a room. It looked very simple, plain. It had beige walls, a bed, a large vent, and a light. The light made the room look really strange. But just then, I came across a video. The video was absolutely terrifying. It featured off-putting audio, and this weird combination of videos of this man in a very disturbing Mickey Mouse mask, and it was cutting back and forth from him to...
I dislike Mickey Mouse. I'm gone. Peace out. I dislike Mickey Mouse.
very disturbing clips that I couldn't make out. I could hear groans and some shuffling. Earth, Wind and Fire's September was also playing in the background. After a rewatch, I was very uneasy. The combination of all these things made for a very unsettling video. I instantly went back to the ad on eBay for some answers, but it was gone. I couldn't remember the seller's name, but I do remember what town it was shipped from. It was a small town in Utah I'd never heard of. I looked it up to realize that that town didn't even exist. I was confused. I thought maybe this was all just some sick prank pulled by the seller. That seemed too far-fetched. What person would go through the process of setting up an eBay ad, making this video, and selling it at such a low cost, and even giving sign-in info of his account? It didn't make sense. There were no more files on the computer, and I tried searching for more things, any hint as to what the video was, but I found nothing. After messing around on the laptop for a bit, I decided to call it a night and head to bed. The next day, I got up at around 6:30 in the morning and went to school. When I got back home later that day, I went to my laptop and sat down.
I just gotta say, this water looking pretty good. Come on, water break, cheers. Alright.
Hoping to unwind for the rest of the day, I opened my laptop and that's when I saw it. It took me a second to notice, but the profile wasn't solid black anymore. It was changed. I sunk into my chair, feeling hot flashes run through me. I
his
sat there
house.
for a good minute or two, analyzing and
The
trying to
picture of
make
his
out
front
what the
door.
picture was. It was a close-up, semi-blurry picture of a front door and its doorknob. I instantly wiped everything, and I frantically began deleting the photos and the video from the files. I also removed the account from the laptop. I thought about getting rid of the laptop altogether, but I needed it for school. I couldn't get rid of it. I also would need to do some work. I'm a musician, and I also make films with my good friend. I began to install all the software I use. After about an hour, I was all set. As I began, I completely lost track of time. I had been writing and recording for hours on that computer. However, unavoidably at this point, that video came back to my mind. Specifically just how disturbing that Mickey Mouse mask was, and even the sounds from the video. That's when I saw something. My heart instantly dropped to my stomach. I noticed the light to my webcam was on.
Ooh,
It had been on the entire time, and I had been too distracted to even notice. I sat there for a second in shock, frozen as I stared at the small
that's
light.
scary.
I quickly regained my attention and slammed the screen down, shutting it. That was it. I finally took the laptop, heading outside as quickly as I could. I opened it and spread it against the curb, stomping down on it. I broke it in two and proceeded to throw it into my trash bin. I was still absolutely terrified. How long was I being watched? Who was watching me? Was the guy even from Utah? Questions raced in my mind, and of course I called the cops. I was on the phone with 911, and they said they'd send 2 cars over to check around. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think they cared. I think they just sent them to calm me down. After a 5-minute search, they told me that I'd be fine, and that there are just creeps out there who are willing to do anything to scare people. And they left.
Trying to watch some.
But to be fair, there wasn't really anything they could do. I didn't sleep that night, and I kept my lights on, blinds closed, doors and windows locked, and I stayed up and watched TV. But while I was doing this, it hit me. That profile picture that was originally black and had changed to a picture of a door and its
I need
doorknob.
to turn down my stuff.
That was my front door. I moved out 2 days later, and I bought a real
I knew
laptop
his
from
front
Best
door.
Buy. To this day, that video is still ingrained into my mind, and it still disturbs me from time to time. And I also wonder how whoever this was able to get a picture of my front door. One thing's for sure, though. I will never be using eBay again.
Yeah, you think?
My wife and I had recently got married, and we moved into our own place not too long ago. When we moved in, we introduced ourselves to most of the neighbors. We live in an apartment complex that consists of 2 buildings across from each other. The view from our bedroom looks directly at the other building, but hey, the place was cheap and in a good location, so we couldn't complain. We hit it off with one of our neighbors right away. His name was Jeff. He was a bit older, probably mid-30s. Anyway, I go to the gym a lot, and I like to use headphones when I'm working out. Though, my headphones recently broke, so I decided to start my search for new ones on eBay. I found a pair of new Beats by Dre wireless headphones for pretty cheap. Cheap enough to think you were getting a good deal, but not enough to think you were getting scammed. I thought I struck gold, so I bought them. But of course, upon arrival, I quickly noticed the headphones were fake. I started the process of filing a complaint with eBay, but deep down I knew it was no use. The weird thing was, as fake as they were, the headphones actually sounded really good. So I took them to my workout at the gym that was on the first floor of my building.
Weren't they
I
red
was
and
running on the
black, now they're
treadmill,
blue?
and they were doing really well. Just as I started thinking these counterfeits aren't that bad, the left ear cup started producing this crackling noise. I ignored it and kept running. Then, a loud bang came from both of the cups, and I nearly tripped on the machine, it was so loud. I stopped. Silence completely overtook the headphones. The silent crackling slowly returned, and this time with what seemed like whispers. I knocked on the plastic cups, hoping that it'd fix them. It did, but a few minutes later the crackling noise got loud again, reaching an unbearable pitch. As I was about to take the headphones off, the music started playing again. I didn't think twice about this event. I mean, I guess this is what I get for not seeing the signs of buying fake headphones, right? Fast forward to the next day, and I asked Jeff if he could come over and help me install some lights. He's an electrician, and I asked him to help me install a pair of those clapping lights. I guess I watched too many movies, and I really wanted to be able to just clap for the light to come on. I found a good deal and bought a few, and Jeff was helping me install them. He offered to do it for free, which was really nice. Anyway, since eBay hadn't done anything regarding my issue, I decided to keep the headphones. The seller wouldn't give me a refund, and they sounded at least decent, so I sucked it up. 2 days later, I was relaxing on my balcony listening to Kanye's new album at the time, when just then, the same crackling noise started. At first it didn't bother me, but it got louder and louder.
I hate that cracking sound, like
Finally got really
the TV
loud, and
static.
it stopped. Whispers came through the headphones again. I turned up the volume to the max to confirm that there were people whispering, and not just some static sound I was mistaking for whispers.
Oh, never mind.
But no. Sure enough, I could hear what sounded like deranged whispers. Though, what stood out to me most was the clear whisper of my wife's name. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't mind the first interference, but this one was about my wife. But I quickly wrote it off as some kind of radio interference, and just a coincidence that I could hear my wife's name. I decided to ask Jeff about it, since like I mentioned earlier, he was an electrician, and he might know something about it. I pulled out my phone and texted him, asking if he could answer a question for me. 2 hours later, and I was still sitting on my balcony without a response from Jeff. Finally, around 8 p.m., I saw Jeff walk out of his building. As soon as he got out, I yelled, asking him if he got my text. He replied saying, "Nah, dude, sorry, I left my phone at work." "Why, what's up? Did those lights stop working?" I responded, telling him that the lights were fine, though what I said next seemed to set him off. I asked him how it would be possible to hear whispers through headphones, and if it might have been picking up a radio frequency somehow. Jeff just stopped in his tracks. He was looking up at me, but he wasn't moving or saying anything. After about a minute or so of silence, he responded, saying he didn't know, and smiled, but it was obviously forced. He then quickly went back into his apartment. I thought the whole encounter was strange, but I didn't think too much about it, and I was decently tired, so I just decided to go to sleep. At around 2 to 3 a.m., some kind of noise woke me up. I'm a light sleeper, and even little things get me, but this sounded pretty loud. I woke up enough to realize that the sound was coming from the headphones. It was the same crackling that got louder and louder. Finally it went away, and silence took over. I turned the volume all the way up, trying to hear anything, but I still couldn't. Just then, a loud clap came from the headphones. The light in our bedroom turned on instantly. I was still a bit sleepy, so it took me a second to comprehend what was happening. The clap from the headphones must have activated the lights. That's when a thought came to me. I walked over to my window, and that's when I nearly screamed. The building across the street had all lights off, all but one. Jeff was standing in the window in his apartment. He was just looking straight at me. He was holding something that looked like a radio. He brought it to his mouth, and just as he did, the crackling came from the headphones again. Jeff must have somehow switched out my eBay package in front of my door with another package that carried fake headphones that had a speaker in them. I still don't know how he knew I had bought headphones, and why he would even do something like this. Although, the guy did always give me a weird vibe despite his kind demeanor. Needless to say, me and my wife moved out shortly after this experience, and I've never seen Jeff since.
Hope you guys enjoyed those videos. If you guys did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Next, I will be reacting to 2 TikTok scary story animated. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If we could get, let's see, 3 likes on this video, I will do part 8, and part 8 will be the TikTok one. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Well, night, or wherever you live, day, night. Anyways, just have a good anything in general. But anyways, peace. Maybe you should take these hot fries.